What's up? Ryan Faulkner here at the PACE TRIATHLON.com, and we're doing some quick little tips. And today we're talking about the clipless bike pedals. Some people ask about, well, why is it clipless? Because technically there is no clip or anything to attach you to the actual pedal. If you look at old school, they've got the cages that your shoe slides into, and you can like strap it and ratchet it down. Things have come a long way since those first came out, and now it's called the clipless because you actually have a cleat in the bottom of your shoe that attaches to the pedal. You can see here back in the pictures. I'm circling with my mouse. It clips onto the bottom of your shoe, and you have a cleat on there. So you do clip in and clip out, but it is a clipless pedal because you don't have the big cage around your toes keeping you attached there at all costs. At least with this system, you can unclip and clip in fairly easily, and it's not as dangerous necessarily as being like actually ratcheted into a cage on your pedals. So hopefully that clears that up a little bit. So we're going to jump into these quick little points. After time, it becomes second nature to clip in and out. So a lot of people get worried about that. I started off by doing it with mountain biking because it really does help a lot. We'll go into those points later. But on mountain biking on the trails, it's a lot more dicey than just being on the road in a straightaway or something like that, maybe coming to a stop sign. Um, and in that regard, I started off really loose, and you kind of find your ease point of clipping in and out, and the pressure and the tension that you need to be able to do that and feel comfortable about it. But after you do it, after time, you're probably going to fall over a few times. You're going to probably scrape an elbow or two. It's just the way it's going to be unless you're really, really super cognizant of every time. So just be ready. It's just going to take a little bit of time before you can actually get in and out and be comfortable and unclip whenever you need to. I found not trying to be the warrior coming to a stop and trying to balance your bike on the road or something like that. I just unclip and just stand there and wait for the light to change. So after time, it just becomes second nature to clip in and out. You just twist your ankles and it pops in, pops out. When you're first starting out, try to practice clipping in and out and stationary. So what I've done is I'll sit on my bike and I'll be holding on to something and I'm fidgeting with my feet. It also works on the trainer too because your bike's stationary. You can just slide on there and it really helps you figure out, especially if you change like SPD pedals here or you change to look pedals or egg beaters or something, speed play. There's tons of different pedal types out there. So if you're changing over, you might have a little bit of a learning curve. So being stationary and practicing clipping in and out kind of helps out to figure out your tension and kind of how to get to that pedal and get clipped in. Start, like I said, start loose on a pedal tension. Don't go super tight because then it's going to create problems, especially for your ankles if you got issues with them. You want that really loose. All you got to do is just turn the ankle barely and you just pop right out. So it's not a problem. So start easy. Power transfer from the hamstring, point number 4, is a big help because what you're basically doing is you're being able to recruit the hamstring. It especially helps out in early mountain biking when you're on an upstroke and you really need that extra power or pull force. You could incorporate the hamstrings where you couldn't really before if you're just on a pedal without any cage whatsoever. You know, your feet are not attached, so you can't pull up on the pedal, but now you can. I mean, you're not really intentionally pulling up on the back pedal, but you do get a little bit more added power on that stroke. So when you're going through the power phase and on the back you're pulling up, you get just a little bit more power on that pedal stroke. Power transfer from the stiffened bike shoes. So with these, they're special shoes. They're not just your run-of-the-mill shoes you slap on some cleat on the bottom. They're special biking shoes that basically are a very hardened sole, usually carbon fiber or something like that. The sole is super stiff. You can't really use them to walk around in necessarily. Mountain bike shoes a little bit maybe more, but still, I mean, that sole, you cannot sit there and bend that shoe really. So that really helps to transfer power as you're standing up on a pedal or something like that. You know, your ankle's behind the cleat, so when you push down, you've got that stiffened sole that the whole thing kind of goes with you. Whereas before, if you got kind of rubber foam based shoes or something like that, you know, the shoe doesn't really give you that stiffened support to get that power transfer to the pedals. So keep that in mind that the cycling shoes are a lot stiffer, so you're transferring more power to the pedals. Clipless shoes remove pressure points on feet. So in that sole, you know, it's really it's really hardened and it's really stiff. And the cleat in the bottom will distribute that force to your foot. So you're not necessarily putting it on one spot like you would like a pedal. You know, sometimes you ride the edge of that pedal, you know, old school thinking about when you're on your BMX bike, pushing down that pedal and it's really getting you right at that point and it just kind of hurts your feet, something like that. With this, it kind of helps, like I said, transfer the pressure to the balls of the feet of the whole foot and just keeps you from creating hot spots when you're cycling in, you know, maybe just random tennis shoes on a random bike or something like that. The seventh point is no slipping on pedals and whacked by the shin pedals. I don't know how many times I've done this, especially before I was clipping in on mountain biking trails. Your foot slides off or do something like that. No, the pedal just cycles around and just smacks you in the shins. So no more bloody shins. That is kind of a thing of the past with the clip-in pedals because the other foot's hooked in. So if the other one slides off, you're still attached to the bike and the pedals can't come around and smack you in the shins. So that's kind of nice. It allows the ability to bunny hop cracks and obstacles. So, when I'm out riding my tri bike or anything like that, and you're riding down the roads, the country roads, sometimes there are big old cracks in the road. So it's nice to be able to be attached. You had the handlebars, and then you actually had the pedals you're attached to. So when you come to a crack, you can bunny hop your bike over as you're going along and just bear in the very way. So then you don't have to worry about going over big old cracks. And if you're not, uh, strapped in with your pedals and your shoes, you can still bunny hop the front, but still you got to get that rear end over there somehow. And that really helps kind of on the road with potholes. And, if you come up on something that you didn't see and suddenly there's a crack in the road you didn't notice, that last second you just hop up the bike and then get over it and it's not a problem. So it adds a little bit of the ability to get around obstacles and stuff when you're riding around. So keep that in mind. Your foot stays positioned optimal with both bike and body performance. So basically, you want to get a good fit. You want to find out where that cleat position is best on your foot to get the most power out of it and the most comfort. But basically, it's locked in. Once you tighten down the screws on the clips and you put the pedals where they're at, once you clipped in, you're in. And you want pretty snug shoes so your foot's not sliding around in the shoe or anything like that. But it's in the best possible position at all times. Unless the screws are loose and that cleat starts moving on the bottom, you're going to meet a good spot, and it's always going to be in the most optimal position. So keep that in mind when you're deciding between going clipless or clipped-in pedals, or no clips at all and just a flat pedal. It keeps your foot from sliding around the pedals or anything like that. Keeps it locked in that position that's most optimal for your biking. And the last point is there's tons of style options. I mean, I got them right here. This is SBD pedals in the background, but like I said, there's egg beaters. There's speed play that's a little round disc. You could do mountain bike style. You can do tri-bike style. You can do road bike style. There's tons of different styles out there and lots of different options. Like I said, I started off mountain biking, so I used those even when I was doing Ironman. My first Ironman was just done in road or mountain biking shoes with SPD pedals, which is typically not what you'd use on a road bike, but it had a nice sole. You can run through transition in them, and the cleat is up out of the way, so you're not scraping on the ground, kind of like your traditional road bike shoes. So did another video of all of that stuff, talking the difference between tri-bike, road bike, and mountain bike type clipless pedal options and cleats. But there's just tons of options, tons of different shoes. There's the low end $50 shoes, and then there's $250 shoes you put in the oven and bake. And you put your foot in it, and it conforms to your foot, and then you let it dry and cool down, and it's like perfectly fit to your foot. There's crazy different things you can do out there with those. So that kind of wraps it up. I just wanted to do a quick little session on clipless bike pedals and kind of get a good introduction. That you don't have to, but it definitely helps. Especially you want practice. Don't go riding indoors all winter and then come out and bust out a first race doing clipless bike pedals and figuring out how to actually get in on and off. Make sure you get outside, get practice, get comfortable with it. That way, when you're in a race or something like that, and there's other people around, you're a little bit anxious. It's not a huge struggle, and it's not a pain point when you're out there doing a race. So hopefully that helps out. If you're seeing this video on Facebook, give it a like. If you're seeing it on YouTube, give me a thumbs up, hit me a subscribe. Let me know like this video. If there's any other questions you have about bike pedals or anything in general, always like to get back and see your feedback and add anything back to them afterwards that I can. So hopefully that helps out. See you on race day.